John Gray.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here. A real pleasure to be here. And I really appreciated the backdrop that they created, Mars and Venus. And my first reaction, honestly, was, is Venus that much bigger than Mars? That's what we'll talk about tonight, which is how men and women, in many ways, show up differently. And certainly, those are the most difficult times in a relationship, the most frustrating times, when we don't understand what's going on. We don't understand how to make it better. There are those moments when we love someone very dear. We care about them with all our heart, and no matter what we say or what we do, it seems to just make it worse. And I've heard from so many people, once they began to understand, well, the reason it's not working at those moments is that you're approaching your partner in the wrong way. You're approaching them as if they're like you. And as soon as you realize, women, that men aren't like you, they're from Mars. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And when you have that awareness at those moments when it's most frustrating, then you can come back and say, okay, maybe my approach is not the approach that works. Here's a very basic example on Mars. What all the Martians do at the end of a day, this is their ritual they do, is they come home and they forget about the day. They've been working all day, solving problems all day, sometimes successfully, sometimes unsuccessfully, but they have a ritual in case there's any stress buildup, a way to release the stress. And the way they do it is they go to their cave. They all have a cave, and women don't understand this, because on the cave it says, do not enter or be burned by dragon. And women don't have caves like that. When women come home, or Venusians, people on Venus, when they come home from work, they don't go into their cave. What they want to do is come home and find someone they love and care about and share, talk, use those jaws, okay? And women today, more than women in history, need to do it more, because during the workday, they many times have to put on sort of a male Martian work suit, and they can't talk as much as they want. They can't talk about their relationships and their children and ask lots of questions. That's not efficient. But women for thousands of years have been doing this, and suddenly, in the last 40 years, they're in the workforce more. They don't get a chance to do that. So women, more than ever in history, need to come home and do this talking thing. Talk, 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 talk. I remember read in one newspaper article they did a study. Men talk on average about 2,000 words a day. Women talk on average 6,000 words a day. So a man and woman comes home from work, he spent all his words. She's got 4,000 left. What's she to do? She's desperate for conversation. She feels like something's missing if we don't have conversation. And she wants to talk. And talking is something which is, to a woman, incredibly useful. To men, sometimes the most useful thing is to do something which is not useful. Okay? Now, I'll rephrase that here, women, so you can understand this. For a man, he's been doing useful things all day long, all day long, all day long, focusing, achieving his goals. When he comes home, he wants to forget that. His way of forgetting that is to do something that's a waste of time, like watch TV. Now, so many guys will be sitting there with his channel changer. He's got to be busy doing something. So he's flicking through those channels. He's doing the ancient ritual on the hunt. Checking out the horizon, always checking out. Where's the animal going to come from? Where am I going to make my kill? Checking those channels. There he is. And it's sort of instinctual inside of us. We find a rock to sit on. So to a man, his favorite place is that couch. I know there are times, and of course Venusian, it's the whole home. So times Bonnie and I will come home from a trip or something, and our kids will be there. And sometimes they leave the house in a big mess. And she'll come in, and the first thing she'll say is, look at this house. It's a mess. I look around and have no idea what she's talking about. Because as a Martian who's been hunting for millions of years as my major thing, I look in the house, I'm focused on my goal. I look in the house, and what do I see? The couch. Then I zoom in, the remote control. Looks fine to me, honey. What's the problem? They've done studies on women's eyes that women see actually more in the room. They actually have extra things in their eyes allowing them to take in the whole thing. They do, really. Their brains are different. They have 40% more connective tissue from one side of the brain to the other. And what that means in practical terms, men, that's like we answer the phone, you have one conversation. When a woman answers the phone in her brain, 4 conversations are going on at once. 4 telephones are ringing, maybe 5 or 6. Okay? A lot of activities going on in her brain. They did one study of brain differences. They found that women, well, we'll do men first, because that's the simplest. Spoken like a true man. Now, men think men are simple. Women think we're incredibly complex. We think women are incredibly complex. Women go, wow, we're not that complex. They're the ones that are complex. Okay? But anyway, here we are observing the brain activity when a man's talking. And see, when a man talks, there's a blood flow in this part of the brain, right up here. So all the scientists said, okay, that must be the communication center. It's lucky that we had men to work on, because if we had women, we'd never know where the communication center is. Why? Because when a woman talks, there's blood flow over here, but there's blood flow over here, back here. Everywhere in the brain, there's blood flow. No wonder she's got 6,000 words a day, and a guy's just got 2. She's got so much more to say. And women think when they're married to a Martian, a guy, and he seems to not have much to say, she's all the time going, I married the wrong guy, he's retarded. If only I'd known this. I thought he was just nervous. Or some woman would say to me, they say, you know, when I met him, I thought he was so deep. Because he'd sit there and say nothing, stare off into the distance. And she really didn't have a clue that his mind was just blank. See, we do that as men. Every man knows that. We just sit there and go blank. That's why we like TV, just go blank. Okay? Sometimes I remember I used to get the magazine. I'd go home and want to just sit down. And that's like being in the cave. Let your mind go blank. No responsibilities. Don't have to do anything useful. Okay? So I'm going blank. But what I find is being married is that whenever my wife caught me going blank, she said, let's have a conversation. You know, let's get busy. Let's make good use of this guy right now. So a lot of men secretly have this strategy that I have, which is we'll pick up a magazine and pretend to read it. Just so you leave us alone for a while. Because a woman sees you sitting there doing nothing, she goes, oh, he must want to talk, and he's afraid of intimacy. I'll go and ask him what he's feeling. What's going on? How's your day? Because that's the loving thing to do on Venus. See, on Venus, when a woman comes home, she waits for her friend, or she sees her friend, and she goes and initiates conversation. That's the most loving thing you can do on Venus, is initiate conversation. If you really care about somebody, you go, oh, how was your day? And they might give a Martian answer, too. They might say, fine. Now, when a Martian says, you say, how was your day to a Martian, and he says, fine, what does he mean? I don't want to talk about it. What does a woman mean? If you say, how was your day? She says, fine. What she means is, and if you really love me, you ask me more questions. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? That's like saying, okay, let's see if you really care. Show some interest. Ask some questions. If you love me, you'll want more details. Okay? It's a Venusian thing. Whereas a man sitting in his cave, recuperating from the day, doing nothing, blanked out, reading a magazine, watching the news, watching TV, watching his favorite football game, whatever he's doing, he's relaxing from the day. That's how he relaxes. Okay? She thinks he's just wasting time. Then, to cap it off, she thinks he has problems. Now, some days he does have problems. He's stressed out. He hasn't solved it. He comes home stressed out. That means he wants to go in his cave even more. So he completely withdraws from the relationship for a while, just into himself. And she senses there's some feeling inside. I feel it. I feel it. I do feel it. I didn't know whether they were talking to me or not. But they said, they're going, stop, stop, stop. I go, what is this? Okay. I feel it. Okay, back to my point. Okay. Here she is. She senses there's stress, and he doesn't want to talk about it. Well, that's a big fearful thing for a woman, because on Venus, if they have something to talk about, they're going to talk about it. And if they're not going to talk about it, the only time they withhold is if what they say means they're pretty much angry at you, or it might hurt you, or it might upset you. or she doesn't feel safe talking to you. So basically, when a woman doesn't want to talk, there are reasons why she doesn't want to talk that need to be attended to. Okay, now when my wife doesn't want to talk, I go, uh-oh. If I want sex, let's get her talking. Okay. If I want her to be happy, let's get her talking. But if a guy's not talking, what I suggest to women, that's a warning. Just leave him alone for a while. But women don't understand that. They think, oh, he's going to feel left out if I don't ask him questions. Women have told me they feel so relieved understanding about the cave because they feel an obligation. It's like their duty and their job to get into that cave and pull him out and get him talking, particularly if he's upset about something or stressed. Out of compassion, she goes up and says, what's wrong, honey? And what does he say, women? Nothing. Now, if she's from the West Coast, her first reaction is, oh, my husband's in denial. He needs therapy. Now, in other parts of the country, it's more like he says, nothing, and she goes, oh, must be something. And then she says, well, how was your day? What happened? How was that meeting? And what he's thinking inside is, why is she asking me all these questions? This is really bugging me. So he gives you quick answers. It was fine. It was okay. It was good. And she's panicking now. She's going, I got to come up with more questions to generate more conversation, to draw him out, to say, I care, I love you. So she goes into more details. She goes, did you make it on time to that meeting? He goes, oh, now she's on my case about getting places on time. And if he was late, he'll definitely tell you, no, I got there on time. It was fine. And she's going, what's the matter? What's wrong? He says, nothing is wrong, but I can tell you're angry, she says. I wasn't angry till you started asking me all these questions. She says, it must have come from somewhere. What is it? I'll listen. I'll listen. I don't want to talk. Just back off. You want me to back off? That hurts. I feel awful now. The guy's going nuts. He goes, can't I just have some peace and quiet without ruining your day? And for many women, it will ruin their day until they realize when he goes to his cave, he withdraws from the relationship. It doesn't mean he doesn't love her. It doesn't mean he's angry with her. He may be. You never know what's going on when he's in that cave. Okay? And if he is angry, again, the worst thing you can do is go in and knock on the cave. Then you get the blowtorch right away. Okay? You have to give him time to cool down. But women don't understand that as well because for them, if you can, and men don't understand this about women, if a woman's in a bad mood, the secret to helping her get in a good mood is getting her to talk. If you can get her to talk, the more she talks about what she's feeling, the more her feelings will change. And men don't understand that because it's very different for men. If a man is angry and upset and he talks, he doesn't feel better right away unless you agree with him. See, men are very action-oriented. When they communicate, when men talk, it's basically one reason, to convey information to create a result. Men talk to create a result. So a woman will ask a guy a question, you go, why talk about it? There's nothing we can do about it. Hey, it happened yesterday, there's nothing I can do now. Or hey, that's not happening until tomorrow, so why talk about it now? Okay? There's nothing to do about it, why talk about it? Well, for women, the reason they talk about it is not necessarily to change you, to change the situation. Women talk to change their attitude. See, when a woman is in a negative place, she's stressed, she's overwhelmed, she might be feeling resentful, she might be feeling rejected, she might be feeling unloved, disappointed, frustrated, unsupported, ignored. Okay? When she's feeling any of those feelings, how does she feel better? How does she transform that attitude? Something women have been doing for 1,000,000 years. They talk. Talk therapy. Women talk. After a while, they start feeling better. This is a miracle. Men don't understand it. Men don't believe it, and we never experience it. You know why? Because when she starts talking, what we do is something different from what women do. Women will listen. What men will do is interrupt and offer solutions. And we think we're helping. Now think about it. All day long, we're at work, people come in, have problems, we give them solutions, they pay us more. I got the idea for that. I got the solution for that. Hey, say no more. I know just what you need. They go, you do? Yep, I know just what it is. And then you do it. They're happy. It's Mr. Fix-It. Solve the problem. Get the job done. This is what makes us money. This is what makes us successful. This is what makes us feel good. Now I come home, my wife starts talking about things that are bothering her. I love her. I care about her. I care about her more her than anybody else. So what am I going to do when my wife's talking about all these problems? I'm going to offer her solutions. I'm going to use all my skills and get right in there. Save her time. I don't need the details, honey. We'll get right on it. Don't care about that. Don't care. Just get to the bottom line, would you? And sometimes she'll be talking just to feel good, get close, experience intimacy. She's talking. And she's doing this, and she's having a good time. I call it circling. She kind of talks about this, and this, and this, and this. And to man, it's circling because, see, when men talk, it always gets to a point. It's like he always knows the target in sight. If a man knows where you're going, he can relax and listen. But when a woman talks, she starts to circle. Here, 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 here. So he doesn't know when you're going to get to the point. He doesn't know how long this journey is going to take. And so what does he do when you don't know how long something's going to take? Well, let's take another example in a situation where we can all relate to, where you don't know how long it's going to take. You're sitting at the doctor's office. You sit down, and you know it's going to be this long wait. So what do? You pick up a magazine. You just cuddle up and start reading. Well, this is what men will do sometimes. One will start circling. As soon as she starts to circle, his mind starts moving instinctively. Where's a magazine to read? He'll start to pick it up. Now let's do a survey right now in this audience. Think about this for a moment, women. I'm going to ask you a question. Think back in your experience with men in the past. It's a time when you were talking. Maybe you were circling, sharing about your day. And this guy looked away and actually started to read something. How many women can relate to that? But look at this, guys. This is amazing. Now, guys always have the reaction that I first had when my wife accused me of this. I said, I do not. And she said, I wouldn't expect you to notice because I just walk away after that. So she had to start pointing it out to me when I would do it. Now, I kept doing it, too. That was the interesting thing. She pointed out, and I'd listen for about 2 minutes, and I'd go back. It was like some kind of habit. Bad habit, okay? And her reaction to it was awful. I mean, she really felt hurt. She felt rejected, like she wasn't important. Now, since then, I have changed that habit, okay? But just to defend the man on his other side so the woman understands, it's not that I'm sitting there going, I don't want to listen to what she has to say. And the essence of what I'm saying is, I don't want to listen to the details of what she has to say. When she gets to the point, I'll listen. And that's what men will say sometimes, and this is the worst thing we could ever say. But we do it again and again and again. And we'll do it on Mars with another buddy. It doesn't offend him. We can't understand why women get so upset about it. We don't know why they're upset. But my wife will be talking, or a woman will be talking, and a man will listen. And he can listen about 2 minutes. He's figuring out, okay, this is where she's going. I know it. He says, okay, I got it. You can't get it by now. I haven't even gotten to it. See, this is a very unique thing about women that most men don't experience, is that women can want to talk even when they don't know what they want to say. Through talking about what they're feeling and what's going on, they just sort of start out on their journey, and after a little while, they discover what they want to say. They say, that's what I wanted to say. And the guy goes, then why didn't you say it an hour ago? And they're just different communication things. See, for her to get to her point, she's got to go on a whole journey around the brain. I mean, it's a whole process for her. Whereas for men, it's a different way they use their brain. We communicate to solve problems. We communicate to achieve goals. We communicate to create an effect. Women can communicate for that reason as well. But women also communicate for a variety of other reasons other than to convey information or solve a problem. Women talk sometimes to discover what the problem is. Now, this is an amazing phenomenon. A woman will talk about 15 things which may be problems, but she's not sure yet. So she just tries them out. Now, I mean, you've been shopping with a woman. You've seen that phenomenon. Women can try on 6 different outfits, buy nothing, and walk home and be happy. Guy thinks this is an enormous waste of time. Right? We go shopping, it's like a hunt. Into the supermarket. Or not the supermarket, excuse me. I'm learning about the supermarket now, but into the clothes store. Go into the clothes store. You want to get right to that store. You know just what you want. You find those pants you're shopping for. I generally shop for one item at a time. Okay, that's the goal. Occasionally the whole suit now, but generally I want pants. So I go in and I buy pants. And the faster I can kill those pants and bring them home, I'm happy. Okay. I went shopping with my wife one time, which amazed me. She loves to go shopping with me. I realized later it was some secret Venusian pact. She goes shopping with me. I'm supposed to go shopping with her. Okay? Her endurance blows my mind. She can keep going on and on and on. She can shop for me, the kids, her friends, herself, everybody, all at once, and change her mind right midstream. We were just 2 days ago going shopping, and she very forgivingly and compassionately knows I can handle about 30 minutes on my feet. Okay? So we went into one store, and they had chairs right out in the front. Okay? I went, now this is a good store. I plopped myself down and started reading. Okay? Now, it was an amazing experience. I'm sitting there reading this magazine. My wife put on the first outfit she picked. And she had to walk all the way from the back of the store all the way to the front of the store. And I looked back to see her walking front, and I said, honey, you look fabulous. You look beautiful. I love it. I love it. Now, secret motive is, let's buy it and get out of here. Okay? But it was also vacation. It really hadn't reached my 30-minute limit. So truly, I was seeing my wife so beautiful and radiant. And there she was. I said, you look beautiful. And she went, I like it. I like it. And I didn't know if it was the dress or the compliment. Okay? But she liked it. But what was amazing is the two women, one was the manager and the other one was helping her running the front cash register. They both immediately turned right at me and went, that was a really nice thing to say. Men never say that. I went, really? What did they say? They said, oh, they say things like, looks okay, looks good, buy it. If you like it, let's get it. Now, if he's going to say that, why is she going to walk all that distance and even show you? Why is she even bringing you on this journey? She wants you to enjoy her, to see her, and to reassure her that this is a beautiful outfit for her. And I was talking with these ladies in the store, and I was complimenting them after we were talking about this on the chairs, saying, these chairs are a good thing. I like them here. And they said, it is amazing. It was a woman that owned the store, but her husband came in one day, and the chairs were back in the dressing room area where all the mirrors were. And he said, why are these chairs back here? Men aren't going to see them. Put them up in the front of the store. It will draw the men in. And they said the sales went incredibly up as soon as they moved those chairs. Subliminally, a guy's walking along, he sees a chair, let's go in there, honey. And then magazines to read. I mean, this was a great place to go. But it gives us real important insight into men and women, just looking at the shopping difference. Women rejuvenate themselves by being relaxed and moving from here and going to here and going to here in a relaxed way, not in a pressured way. Men, actually, they get really focused and they feel really good. Okay, that's what a man needs to feel good, is to focus. Okay, the more focused he is, that's why a guy can sit on one of those computer terminals now. That's one of my new cave areas. I get on my computer terminal, and I got all these programs that I bought. I'm an author. Main thing I use in the computer is Microsoft Word. That's it. Okay, word processor. I got this fancy computer with all these gadgets and everything that works with it, and maybe 50 different programs that I've spent hours and hours learning to use that I've never used for any productive purpose. I'm like, look at this, honey, look what I can do. And look what I can do here. And she goes, are you becoming an artist with this art program? I went, well, can't you see what I can do? It's like a power thing. But more than that, it's a focus. That, if I lose that day, it doesn't matter. See, it's a time which I focus on something that I enjoy doing. It's problems I can solve that really mean nothing to me. Okay? And she now, understanding that, she's very patient when she sees all the program bills coming in. Okay? She says, he's buying more programs. He's buying more programs. What does he need all these programs for? Then she remembers, he's from Mars. They need to waste time sometimes. Occasionally they need to waste a little money too. I'll tell you, women, one of the most loving things a woman can say to a man. Let me say the most unloving thing she can say, and then the most loving. My wife used to say this a lot. Now she's learned to give me love, not to say it. But I used to buy certain things. She'd look at that and she'd say, "How much did that cost?" I'd say, "Oh, I got a great deal." She said, "Really?" "Yeah. I paid $1,500 for this." And her first reaction is, $1,500? You paid $1,500 for that? You could have got that at the Good Guys for $300. What are you doing spending all that money on that for? And my reaction is, on an emotional level, oh, I guess I blew it again. Dumb me, Mr. Incompetent, can't be responsible. And she has no idea that's the way a guy takes it. Now, the loving thing to do that she could say at that time is she looks at that. She says, "How much does that cost?" I said, "That cost $1,500. And she pauses. And she says to herself, if I say what I feel right now, it's going to hurt his feelings. So I will just not say it. She'll say, "Really? What features does it have?" And then I get to justify spending all that money. Yeah. "Oh, you could do this, and you could do this, and see what you could do here. It's more of a gizmo. It's more power. I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this." She goes, "Wow, that really is something." And then she just walks out of the room, calls up a girlfriend, and says, "Can you believe what my husband spent money on? I can't blah, 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 blah." And she gets to talk and talk and talk and changes her attitude. See, she could express her feelings. So women talk. They talk to make points the way men do as well, but they also talk to share, to discover. By having a good conversation, they discover what they want to say. They find out what they want to say. They talk sometimes to discover what's really bothering them, like shopping, trying on different outfits. They try on this outfit. Is this bothering me? No. Take it off. This bothering me? No. Take it off. It's just trying on, and getting to what is it, the actual feel for this, what's the fit? What's really me? Okay? That's the thing she's looking for, is what fits. And they do that through trial and error, through talking. What's amazing is that a woman can talk about the problems of her day. This is another reason they can talk, in order to feel better. Now, the truth is, when I go out with some of my buddies, Martian evenings, I'll come home, my wife will say, "What'd you talk about?" "Nothing. We went to the movie." "Well, what'd you talk about?" "Not much." "What?" "Don't remember." "Mine's blank. Had a great evening." Unfortunately, if she doesn't understand I'm from Mars, an alien being, she's going to think, he's not telling me something. He doesn't want to tell me. What is it? What's going on? Need to get more questions. And she gets all confused because she would have lots to say. Truth is, she knows more about my best friend's life than I do. Why? Because she talked to his wife. Know all the details. One time he went on a vacation. I talked to him about his vacation thinking, I'll get a few details to bring home to my wife so she'll feel like we didn't waste the evening. So I wasted a few minutes getting details, okay? And got a few details. "Well, how was that trip?" I said. "Well," he said, "fine." Changed the subject. I said, "Well, what was your hotel like?" I knew that's what my wife was going to ask. So he says, "It was great, got a good deal, da-da-da-da. It was right on the beach, da-da-da-da," and talked a little bit. So then I said, okay, I'll be able to talk to my wife about that and tell her. So I came home and told her all about our conversation. She said, "That's amazing." I talked to his wife, and she said they had to change the hotel 3 times. One of the kids fell off the diving board, got a bloody nose, Somebody got sick with gonorrhea. He didn't know what to do, and she had to take control. See, he's not going to tell me all his problems. Men don't feel happy telling about their problems. If I go with the guys, "Oh, I blew this deal, I couldn't do this, I didn't know what to do there, I felt terrible about that, I was so afraid about this, I don't know what to do, I can't do anything anymore." All the guys are going to start looking at him like, let's not tell him next time we're going out, okay? Now, we do talk sometimes when we have a problem, and we're looking for each other's advice, okay? If I have a problem, I say, "Oh, I'm got this problem in my business. I don't know what to do. What do you think I ought to do? It's a great honor. He puts on his Mr. Martian fix-it hat. He says, well, what you got to do is this, this, and this. And I go, great idea. Thanks. And we had a great evening. I mean, that is wonderful. Got some good advice, and we're done with it. He feels, I gave him my advice. He appreciated advice. He feels good. So now this is the Martian code of behavior. If you talk about a problem, you talk about it in order to get a solution. Okay? If you don't want a solution, don't talk about it. So now you're married to a Venusian. On Venus, you talk about all your problems in order to forget your problems. That's another amazing thing, man, about women. They talk about their problems in order to forget them. See, men don't understand that because if I talk about my problems, I just feel more and more incompetent. Like, I haven't done this, and I haven't done this, and I haven't done this. Now I can't go to sleep at night. See, we have spent thousands of years learning how to forget our problems. We go to work, and then we do something like a hobby, and we forget all that stuff. That's our way of forgetting. And what's amazing, if we can then forget the problems at work during that time which women look at as useless time, if we can forget the problems at work, then a moment happens which is very precious. We forget the problems at work, and we remember what's most important to us, which is why we're even going to work, which is our family, our wife, our values inside. Our heart opens. It's so easy to just get caught up in achieving the goal, making the money, making the deal, putting in more hours, solving this, doing this, and you forget, why are you doing all this? You're doing it because you love your wife. You love your family. And if you're not married, you want to find somebody. You want to provide something wonderful for them. Some men never find that place because they come home from work, they go into their cave. And like this one woman told me, she said, until I read your book, I realized I was a cave buster. She comes in with dynamite. I'm getting in here, you know. I'm breaking down the wall. I'm coming in after you. And she said, when I did that for years and years, my husband became a, what is it she said, a tunnel digger. He's digging tunnels in that cave, going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Which is what happens in so many lovely, beautiful people's relationships because they don't understand the differences between men and women. So many times, all a man needs to do is just pull away for a while to find himself again, to relax, to forget the problems. And you know what else happens when he pulls away? He starts to miss you. He starts to miss love. He starts to remember, if you want to get love, what do you have to do? Give love. You have to get off your butt and do something in this relationship. But he doesn't remember that. He doesn't feel that motivation if he doesn't have a chance to find that place inside of him, which emerges after he's wasted some time, useless time from a woman's point of view. Okay. The same thing is true of women. Women talk. Traditionally, what have men done when women are talking? Rolling our eyes. What are they talking about? They change one subject to another. They're wasting all this time. Let's get to the point. We think women are wasting their time, or our time, when they're talking. And literally what men have thought for a long time until we start to understand women is that women were a little out there because they talked. So women learned not to really let their Venusian side out around a Martian because we just didn't understand it. I lived in LA at the time. They have these good earth restaurants with circular tables. That's where all the Venusians congregate. It's circular tables. Now I understand why. Then it was such a lucky guess. The good earth, Mother Earth. It was definitely a place for the women to congregate, Venusians. They sit in a circle so they can all see each other when they talk. Okay? Eye contact is really big on Venus. Okay? You look at each other. They've done so many studies on guys when they're talking. When a guy's having kind of a friendly conversation, a relationship kind of, just be hanging out with the guys, we rarely look at each other. We look over there, we look over there. I could be talking to him right now. He's looking off at that Venus. Looking at Mars, wondering, well, where would I want to be, okay? But he's listening to me as well, but he's kind of relaxing, wandering around, okay? If he's in his work mode, he's focused. He'll look you right in the eyes. But in just relationship mode, he looks all around. Women, however, work mode, they look right at you. Relationship mode, they look right at you, okay? So there they are, these Venusians sitting in a circle. Must have been 10 or 12. It was the most frustrating lunch I'd ever had. I was sitting in a booth next to them, having tea and listening in. I thought this would be a great control group, listening to women talk when they thought no man was listening. Okay? And the way they talked was truly different. Okay? What they did is they took polite turns and talked about random things that were upsetting them. This bugged them, this bothered them. And then the next person would talk. This bugged her, and this bothered her. And then somebody over here. It wasn't always circular like that. Another one popped up over here. Oh, yes, and my husband did that the other day, and da-da-da-da-da. And somebody says, yes, and I went to Disneyland as well, and it's a whole other subject. It's just like run-on fluid flow, you know. No logical, structured, linear progression towards a goal. No point they were making. Just sharing, just talking, and lots of details. And see, to an uninitiated man, when he hears lots of details, he assumes that each one of those details must be relevant to the point they're about to make. So he is straining his brain, trying to logically connect all these things together that nobody intends to be logically connected together. It's just sharing. I wasn't even married to these women, and I was frustrated and hated them, okay? It was just... None of them ever stopped and said, well, what are you going to do about that? There was no sense of, well, I made this mistake, I'll handle it this way, or this is what you got to do. It's just like sharing and talking, and I'm feeling worse and worse and worse. And I looked over at these women. When they got up and left, they're all so happy. They're like the most unhappy group of people I could ever imagine existed in the world. You see, when women really let go and talk about their feelings, they talk about problems sometimes that have no solutions. Remember, a man wants to solve the problem. Now, Bonnie and I live in a beautiful home, place that we selected together, and she loved it very much. And I figured, okay, we get a nice home, she'll be happy, then she won't complain about the home. That'll be one thing I won't have to listen to, okay? And she'll be a happier woman. Well, one of the beautiful features of our home is that we have deer running wild through the forest, and that's the positive side. The negative side of it is we can't grow flowers or garden. She loves the garden. So she has a garden, a few minutes drive away in a public area. There's a garden area. So she grows her vegetables and her flowers there. And she loves it. But occasionally she'll say, oh, I have to drive to the garden. I'm so tired. I wish I hadn't to go that long distance. I'm going inside, but you picked this house. You knew that's what was going to happen. How can you say this? Or here's another example of talking about problems with no solutions. Or I think, what do you want to move? What is it? She goes, no, I just want to talk about it. That's all. Can't I just talk about my feelings without you always having to fix it or solve it or change it? So I go, okay, let me try that. Now, be honest, I didn't just say, okay, let me try that. What I did is I got upset, zipped it up, went to my cave, and pouted, okay? But she learned something which is so critical to the success of our relationship. When I go to my cave, she doesn't panic. She has learned that that's the most important thing I could do if I'm upset at her or anything else. Leave him alone for a while. Ignore him. And that's hard for a woman, to ignore a man when he's in a bad mood. Why? Well, one reason, they got all these extra things in their eyes, and they see everything, okay? They can't ignore anything. But they also feel. They can't just easily ignore. Men can just... See, we have this less connective tissue between the left and the right sides of the brain. We can just cut off from our feelings in an instant, just like that. Boom, gone. And it is so relaxing, women. That's what we do. We're like that blank state. We just cut off from those feelings. Freedom from feelings, okay? Not upset about anything, as long as we don't talk, okay? Blank mind. Okay. Whereas women can't do that. They're always busy in their brain. They can't run away from their feelings. They're always there. And not only are they always there because they have more connective tissue, men have the emotions on the right side of the brain, thinking on the left side of the brain. So we go over to the left side of the brain to think. That gets us out of our emotions. Let's say I'm angry. If I want to cool down, calm off, be loving, what do? Think about it. Go over the left side of the brain. Let's say I'm sad and unhappy, disappointed, bummed out. What do? Think about it. Maybe all I can do is think about what bummed me out. So what do? Think about something else. How do I get this stupid, useless program to work? Okay? Think about the scores of my favorite teams. Think about the news. Now, the news helps me out, too. I've analyzed why the news makes me feel good. Okay? There's one other thing a man wants to feel. When a man feels good, he feels competent. He feels successful. A man feels always happiest when he's overcome a problem, solved it, achieved some goal, and now he can go brag to the world about it. Okay? Like, yep, I did that, I did that, I did that. Okay, that actual effort, when he puts his effort forth and achieves a goal, it makes him feel really good. Or if he just does his best and he's acknowledged for it, it makes him feel really good. Okay, accomplishment is the male side of us. Now, women feel good when they accomplish, but women feel most good when they have loving relationships. See, when they have relationship, nurturing, caring people in their lives, that's what's most fulfilling for women. Most fulfilling for men, achieve that goal. Now, I did something which is classic. I do it almost in every lecture. I started to get really creative using the right side of my brain. Now, see, I don't have all that connective tissue between the right side and left side of the brain. So I went a little bit too far over the right side of the brain. Forgot my point. Okay. Here I am. I covered too many subjects. And that happens to us men. We do our best, so most sincere. Okay, I'm going to be a good listener. I'm going to listen to her. Okay, this could be 15 minutes. You're reminding yourself. Just buckle in. Hang in there for a while. Make yourself comfortable. Look in her direction. Zip up. Don't say anything. Nod your head. Make Venusian noises. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, really? Then what? What did you say? Okay. Oh, that's terrible. That's awful. You paid that much? Really? Oh. The whole time she's going, oh, he listens, he cares, he loves me so much. Okay. But as soon as she starts circling around, he's in there like trying to stay on it, going from one to the other to the other. Generally, after 3 subjects are covered that aren't logically linked together, or 3 subjects that he doesn't have solutions for because they don't have solutions, any of those things, what happens, he gets way over to the right side of his brain, okay, he just goes blank. He goes, uh-oh, this is a very vulnerable moment. I don't know what she's talking about. I can't remember what she's talking about, but I know in 10 seconds she's going to know it. Just sort of this blank stare in my eyes. She's going to look at me and go, you're not listening to me. He says, I have been listening. She says, what did I say? He says, I forgot. And she knows he didn't forget. He wasn't listening. You see, women always remember. They thrive. They feel tremendously guilty if they forget something. They're remembering everything. They're remembering all this stuff. Okay, back to remembering. I can remember my point now. So I was talking about 15 minutes ago about women when they go shopping, and that makes them feel really good. They expand. Same thing when they talk. It's like random sometimes. So, oh, might buy that. Might wear this. Is this how I feel? Nope. This is how I feel? Nope. This. Oh. You know what's amazing? She can be upset about 15 things, and she can go home from that upset and buy nothing. The problem, women, is that you assume that we understand that process. Instead, all you have to say is one magic word. If you're upset, and you're talking for a while, and you see he's like getting more beat up by this thing. Oh, nothing can make her happy. No matter what I do, I'll never make her happy. I'm married to a bottomless pit of problems. Okay. He's like getting beaten up, and she's just thriving, talking about this, talking about this. Pause. Look at him. Pause. Well, actually, one time my wife said this to me. She didn't pause in the middle. She waited till she was finished. And she looked at me and she says, you look the way I felt. That's all I needed to hear. It was amazing. I said to her, you mean that's the way you felt? You don't feel this way anymore? She goes, no, I feel much better. I said, how can you feel better when you just talked about 20 things that make your life miserable? And she says, you listened. I listened. That makes you feel better? She says, yeah, I feel much better now. She says, you don't have to have all those problems solved before you feel better. You can go to sleep right now if you wanted. Well, not right now, but I can go to sleep later. I feel great. You listened. This was so wonderful. You didn't even interrupt. And what was amazing, all she had to do was say that. And I went, oh, I didn't waste all this time. I did something. I made her feel good. This is the most amazing thing about men. It can be quite an erotic thing as well, but it has a good benefit. Okay? That is, men take credit for whatever you feel. Okay? And they take credit for anything that they want to take credit for. But it's like if I take my wife to a movie, and she enjoys the movie. She goes, oh, that movie was great. That was wonderful. I love that scene when he said this and this and this. I go, yep, I wrote that scene. I take credit for it. I brought her to the movie, didn't I? So I'm responsible for this. She says, ooh, these are such great seats. I say, yep, I organized this. Tonight, my wife might say to me, John, that was such a great backdrop. I'm like, yep, I organized this. I didn't even know they were going to do it, okay? But I get to take credit for it. Men love to take credit for things. Take my wife to the symphony. She enjoys the symphony. I could sleep through it. But afterwards, she says, oh, that was so wonderful. I go, yep, I conducted that symphony. That was my symphony. I take her to a restaurant. Okay. And these are all the things, you know, at the beginning of the dating season, when the marriage and the relationship, they're dating, a lot of him taking you places. And this is actually where those romantic bonds start that we forget, or that we get lost, that they get lost, which is, I take her to a restaurant. Let's say we're dating. And I'm not Mr. Suave and Debonair yet. It might take 20 years before I get there. But I got to the restaurant. We're there. I didn't call to make reservations. So we're waiting 30 minutes in line. You know, they got the chairs there for all the guys that didn't make the reservations. Okay? So we're sitting there, and people are passing by, getting their seats, and we're waiting for a table. But we're just dating. She's so happy to be with me that she enjoys waiting for the table. She goes, oh, it's great, no big deal. To her, she's just talking, chatting, talking. He's listening. Okay? And one of the reasons men listen so much in the beginning is they're gathering information. But once they understand you, they figure they don't need to gather information. Now I know you. Why do we have to keep talking? Okay. So he's gathering the basic information, so he's real attentive and everything. She goes, I finally met a man who'll listen. Okay? Well, we all listen until we get the information. Then what else do you listen to? Okay? Now, we can learn to. Once we can get beyond that. I don't want to present a picture like men can't learn to, but we have to learn with the right approach. You can't look at a guy and go, you don't love me, you don't listen to me, why aren't you interested in what I have to say? Well, the answer to that is he's from Mars. Of course he's not. Okay? My wife can talk sometimes. I go, oh, not more details. Not more details. It's painful sometimes to listen to that stuff. Now she's so loving. She sees me kind of like going over, bending down. And she looks at me and she says magic words like this one. She goes, oh, you don't have to solve any of this. I'm going to feel better in a few minutes. I go, oh, that's right. She's Venusian. She's going to feel better. She's going to appreciate me for being this great listener. Okay? It took me a long time to get that if you just listen, women appreciate you for it. Because imagine, I'm a fireman. Okay, good Martian job. Go rescue people, solve problems. Somebody calls, we got a fire. Well, tell me about it. It's blazing. My children have died. Well, how do you feel about that? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? Let's share. I also felt that way once. No, he doesn't like share and talk, ask questions, he gets the details. Where are you? And he gets there. It's like, fix, solve the problem. Okay? That's what men do, and that's what they're appreciating their work for. Not just listening, but suddenly you get in a relationship, and that's what women want. That's all they want, men, the most important thing. Now, you think that's not all they want. You haven't met my wife. Okay? I met a lot of wives as a counselor and as a teacher, thousands, and you'll see them tonight. See, every woman that gets divorced from a man, if she initiates the divorce, there's one reason she'll say. The reason is always, he doesn't listen. He never listens. I can't talk to him. That's always the message. Now, rarely, as a matter of fact, never have I had a man come into counseling and complain, my wife won't listen to me. She won't even touch me affectionately anymore. She only touches me when she wants sex. Men don't complain about that. Women do. They say all the time, he only touches me when he wants sex. He won't just touch me out of love. He's changed. In the beginning, he used to always touch me. He had his hands all over me. Take her to the side. I say, it really hasn't changed. The situation has changed. So what do you mean? See, in the beginning when he was dating you, he had his hands all over you because he couldn't touch you yet where he wanted to touch you. See, men are very goal-oriented. I mean, once you can get to the goal, why waste time touching all this stuff? Now that we've gotten there, let's just do that. And what he doesn't understand is that when women are starting a relationship, they're shopping to see what they want, what's going to work for them. This guy, does he know the right stuff? Can he make me happy? And all the things that men do in dating make her happy, but he's doing it for the wrong reasons. She doesn't know he's doing it because he can't get anything else. Then she gets married and she has all this resentment instead of understanding men are different. One study, a book called Brain Sex, all this physiological stuff, they did show that women's sensitivity on their skin all over their body was 10 times greater than a man's. Of course, they got more fibers, they got more connective stuff going on. You touch a woman, she starts to purr. It's her whole body. It brings her back to herself. The only way I can compare it, men, is that we have one part of our body that is that sensitive. And you certainly like that touched. Men do come in and say, she never touches that. Okay, I can understand that. But quite honestly, here I'm this open therapist, for years women would come in until I understood the differences. Women would come in and they'd say, Dr. Gray, my husband never touches me unless he wants sex. And inside I go, what's wrong with that? At Stanford, they also did a study which measured certain hormones in the body associated with people that like to be touched. Cuddling hormones. Women, you all have them. Okay? Men, you had them when you were babies. And as you go into puberty, testosterone comes up, and it's like rock and roll music, and those little cuddling hormones is off in the background. You can't even hear them. It's not that important for most men. Some men have developed those hormones, okay? But not all. Most of them, they go to puberty, I want sex. Why waste time on this other stuff? It's very goal-oriented again. So women, you have this cuddling hormone, and men don't understand it. So men doesn't go, oh, she just wants to be held. Guy goes, held? What's that do? Nothing. I mean, truthfully, my wife had to teach me what cuddling meant. I read this article with one of those Dear Abby columns, and exactly her sister Abigail, and I think that's her name. And in her column, she said it was the biggest response she'd ever received was in response to a woman's question, and the question was, as a woman, I care more about cuddling than sex, and sometimes I have sex just for the cuddling. Now that example really threatens men. What? She doesn't want sex? What is this? Okay. Well, anyway, she put the question out, and the person doing the interview said she got more write-ins on that response. All these women writing, yes, we want cuddling, we want cuddling, we want touch, we want touch. I'm sure that inspired them to do the study on the cuddling hormone. Women want it. Men weren't writing in saying, yes, I want cuddling, I want cuddling. Men were rather upset about it. But now I have the solution to this, men, so you don't have to walk away being upset about it. All you have to do is give a woman enough touch, and then she wants sex, okay? But if given the choice, if she's not getting the touch, then she doesn't want the sex. She wants the touch. And the touch brings her back to her body, sensitizes her to her body, to her awareness of herself. And then she starts to get into her own pleasure, and then sex is this thing that she really wants. Otherwise, she doesn't want it as much. Men, they're biologically hooked up to want it. Okay? It's real clear cut. For women, where they want sex, sometimes they're the full moon. They're like the moon. The full moon, they want it. The half moon, we could have sex if I get some cuddles. The new moon, it's like, who would want to do that? Okay? So you got a whole range. Now for men, we don't understand it because men are not like the moon when it comes to sex. Men are like the sun. Every morning it rises. It's a definite yes, okay? It's just like a wire. Sex, yep, it's ready up, going. Or it's not, then we don't want to talk about it, okay? We go to sleep, okay? It's up or down, okay? One switch, up, down. For women, it could be a whole variety of things. One of my favorite concepts in understanding my wife and understanding women is women are like waves. The wave goes up, the wave comes down. But when the wave hits bottom, what happens? It only has one place to go. It goes right back up. You can't stay down if you're in touch with your feelings, particularly if you're a woman. They go down, they go up. And they go up for no reason at all. They've reached, sometimes they go down for no reason at all. Heaven forbid I tell my wife that when she was down, okay? But there's a feeling goes down, then she goes up. Now, This is important for men to understand, because when a woman's on her way up, her ability to love is incredible. It's fabulous. She appreciates him. He does little things. He takes you to a crummy movie. She says it was a nice sunset. You forget to bring home the milk. She nicely says, oh, would you pick it up tomorrow? He goes, oh, didn't get punished. How great, you know. Okay. She's fluid. She's graceful. She's not cranky. She's giving of herself. She's forgotten all the problems in the relationship. She's focusing on the good. And that's as her wave rises and rises and rises. But at a certain point, always, men, you cannot change this. This is inevitable. You cannot find a woman where this is not going to happen. She'll feel loving and loving and loving, and she'll say things to you like, my life is perfect. It's so wonderful. I can't imagine anything going wrong. It's so great. And then the next day, I can't believe it. Everything was so wonderful. Now it's awful. And sometimes she won't even say, I can't believe it was so wonderful. She'll say things like, we never spend time together. You never listen to me. You always forget things. You're always rushing. This house is always a mess. No one helps me. That moment, a guy's going nuts. He says, wait a second. Hold it. Nothing's always. What do you mean we never talk? We're talking now. I knew it. I can't talk to you. He says. What do you mean this house is always a mess? It was clean 3 weeks ago. It was clean. It was not. You came down and made a big mess, and I was in an argument. See, what men, we need to understand is when women need emotional support, they give us signals. They're very clear to other women, but we men misinterpret them. The signals are words like always and never, no one and everyone. Expanded words, okay? As soon as those words are expanded, we used to get in so many arguments and fights. Now we don't at all. Now I go, oh, we're having an emotional conversation here. I know what my job description is. Say nothing. Empathize. Occasionally touch. I'm there for you. Look at her. Eye contact. These are the things that we need to do, but we don't know to do it. Nobody ever taught us how to do it. What we do when we hear nobody helps me, we explain to her why she's overreacting. We explain to her why it's not never, it's not always. Bonnie would say sometimes, we're always rushing. I'd say, last Thursday we weren't rushing. What do you mean? And instead of her going, oh, that's right, I made a mistake, I said always. Certainly it's not always. She doesn't have that response. She'd go, yeah, but on Wednesday we were rushing, and on Thursday we were rushing, and she doesn't get my point at all. She just ups the ante herself. And it's a big conversation. And the guy, of course, is resisting because he takes it literally. He thinks when she goes to bed that night, she's going to be remembering all the times that we rushed and forgetting all the times that we didn't rush. But if a woman can say, we're always rushing, no one helps me, I never get the support I need, everybody thinks about themselves. She says all that, and if she doesn't have somebody argue with her about it, then she relaxes, centers herself, and she goes, well, I guess he cares about me. I guess there is some support in my life. Hey, he didn't even rush me through that conversation. We're not always rushing. And we didn't rush the other day. Gosh, I have such a wonderful life. I'm so lucky to have this guy. And then if you're lucky, she might go into, he's always wonderful. Thank you very much.